Welcome back to Coins Numismatic Series, where every episode brings you closer to understanding the real stories behind the coins you collect, the coins you hunt for, and the coins that might be hiding in your own home right now. The coin we are exploring today may look ordinary at first glance, but the moment you understand its place in history, its design, its significance, and the powerful era it represents, it becomes far more than a simple 1-cent piece. This is the 1936 wheat penny 1-cent coin, minted at Philadelphia with no mint mark, presented in fine condition, and it holds a story woven deeply into the fabric of America's recovery, growth, and transformation. The 1936 wheat penny belongs to a period when the United States was slowly emerging from the depths of the Great Depression. Hope was returning, industries were reopening, and people were beginning to rebuild their lives. This penny is not just a coin. It is a snapshot of 1930s America. Every fine condition example that has survived today has passed through the hands of workers, families, businesses, travelers, farmers, and children who lived through one of the most challenging chapters of American history. The 1936 no-mint mark wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest minting facility in the United States. Even though no mint mark appears on the coin, its identity and story are unmistakable. Let's begin with the design, because the beauty of the 1936 wheat penny is tied directly to the artistic vision of Victor David Brenner, the sculptor who created the Lincoln cent design in 1909. The obverse features President Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right, a portrait intended to capture strength, dignity, and leadership. Brenner chose a simple but meaningful profile to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Even in fine condition, although softened from years of circulation, the essential design elements remain clearly visible on a 1936 penny. You will still see the strong outline of Lincoln's face, the contours of his jaw and hair, the word Liberty to the left, and the date 1936 to the right. Below Lincoln's shoulder, the VDB initials may appear faint but recognizable in many examples, depending on how the coin has worn over time. Turning to the reverse, the wheat stalks are the iconic symbols of the earliest Lincoln cents, two stylized sheaves of wheat that frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. These wheat stalks were designed to represent prosperity, agriculture, and the backbone of the nation's economy. Life in the 1930s depended heavily on agricultural production, and wheat remained a symbol of resilience. Above the denomination sits the widely recognized motto E pluribus unum, a reminder that unity is found when many come together. A 1936 wheat penny in fine condition normally shows moderate wear across Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. The reverse will also show softening in the wheat lines, especially near the center. But the bold structure of the design remains intact. Fine condition is a pleasing mid-level grade, well circulated but still sharp enough to maintain all major features. It is the kind of condition that tells a story without being too worn to appreciate. The mintage of the 1936 no-mint mark wheat penny is one of the most interesting aspects of this coin. With over 309 million pieces struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this was one of the highest wheat penny mintages of the 1930s. But high mintage doesn't mean unlimited survival. Millions were lost, discarded, melted, or worn beyond collectible condition. Fine condition survivors today are much less common than the original numbers would suggest. Many collectors seek 1930s wheat cents because they represent a balance between affordability and historical importance. They come from a time when America was rebuilding its identity, economy, and national spirit. What makes the 1936 wheat penny especially fascinating is the array of potential errors and varieties that exist for this year, some of which command significant collector interest. Although not every example holds an error, collectors always examine their coins closely because 1936 is known for several noteworthy varieties. One of the most famous is the 1936 double die obverse, particularly the Type 1 DDO, where pronounced doubling can be seen in the date and inscriptions. These coins can be extremely valuable in higher grades. While a fine condition example of the double die variety also has value, it is significantly more desirable than a standard 1936 penny. The doubling is usually visible around the date, the word Liberty, and sometimes the motto In God We Trust. Although the double die is rare, even the possibility makes collectors pay special attention. There are also minor double dies and die deterioration doubling varieties, where the reverse lettering or wheat stalks appear slightly doubled due to worn dies. These are not as valuable but still exciting finds for collectors who enjoy searching for subtle anomalies. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination cracks, and die cracks are also seen among 1936 pennies. Lamination errors occur when impurities in the metal cause part of the surface to peel or flake. These natural minting errors can make certain examples significantly more unique. Weak strikes also appear occasionally among 1936 wheat pennies. Weak strikes occur when the dies do not press firmly enough into the planchet, resulting in soft details. Even though a weak strike may reduce the visual crispness of a coin, it often increases interest among collectors who enjoy the technical side of minting variations. It is also important to understand the economic context of 1936. This was the third year of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal recovery programs. People were slowly returning to work, factories were operating again, and rural development programs were expanding. The penny had real purchasing power during this time. A single cent could buy food items, household essentials, or small daily necessities. Children used wheat pennies for school lunches, handwritten postcards, and small treats. Adults used them for everyday shopping, travel, and saving. Because life in the 1930s relied heavily on cash-based transactions, pennies from this era circulated intensely. This is why many examples found today are heavily worn, corroded, or damaged. A fine-condition example signals that the coin circulated, but not heavily enough to erase its key features. Imagine where a 1936 penny has traveled. It may have been spent at a diner during the early morning rush, passed through the hands of a factory employee receiving change after buying a newspaper, or sat in the pocket of a young worker on his way to a construction site funded by the Works Progress Administration, WPA. It may have been tucked away in a family's small savings jar or dropped into a child's toy piggy bank. It may have traveled across states through train stations, general stores, and local markets. Every fine-condition example carries these invisible stories, reminders of a country rebuilding itself and the people who lived through it. From a collector's perspective today, the 1936 wheat penny holds a central place in mid-series Lincoln cent collections. It represents the stability of the mid-1930s minting era, and it is often one of the earlier coins new collectors acquire as they begin building a complete set. Fine-condition pieces are especially appealing for circulated collections because they blend well with coins from surrounding years. A collection built around fine-grade wheat pennies showcases the real character of the Lincoln series, the honest wear, the preserved detail, and the natural aging of coins that truly circulated. Collectors often seek out examples with attractive brown or chocolate-colored patina. Copper tones vary deeply depending on storage conditions, handling, and exposure to air over the decades. A fine-condition 1936 penny with smooth, even color and no signs of corrosion is considered desirable. Uncleaned coins are especially important because cleaning can strip away the natural surface and reduce the coin's authenticity and value. Collectors look closely for marks, scratches, or environmental damage. A fine-grade piece should have moderate wear, but it should not have harsh scratches or discoloration. When evaluating the value of a 1936 wheat penny in fine condition, the amount may not reach the levels of rarer dates, but its worth remains steady and dependable. Collector demand for mid-1930s pennies is strong because these coins are essential building blocks in completing a full Lincoln cent set. Many collectors also enjoy the hunt for potential errors, which increases interest in this coin. A fine-grade example reflects a balance between affordability and historical charm. It may not be the rarest penny on the market, but it ranks among the most meaningful for collectors who appreciate the historical narrative embedded in these pieces. Among wheat penny enthusiasts, the 1936 penny is often remembered for its role in transitioning the nation from hardship to hope. It comes from a period when the American spirit was rising again, when people were finding work, and when stability was slowly returning. Every detail on this coin, from Lincoln's calm profile to the strong wheat stalks, speaks to this era of resilience. Even though it has circulated, even though it shows the marks of everyday life, its endurance reflects the strength of the people who used it decades ago. As we approach the deeper layers of understanding this coin, it becomes clear why collectors feel such a connection to wheat pennies from the 1930s. They are old enough to be historical, affordable enough for beginners, rich enough in potential varieties to interest advanced collectors, and visually appealing through the simplicity of Brenner's original design. The 1936 wheat penny is one of those coins that manages to bridge generations of collectors, connecting the past to the present in a small but significant way. Even today, countless hobbyists still find 1936 pennies during coin roll hunts, in inherited collections, or in boxes of old change tucked away in basements or attics. Pulling a 1936 wheat penny from circulation today feels like discovering a relic. The satisfaction that comes from holding a nearly 90-year-old coin that has survived through so much time and history is something only a true collector understands. In closing, the 1936 wheat penny 1-cent coin with no mint mark and in fine condition stands as a testament to American resilience, artistry, and the endurance of everyday objects. It reflects the craftsmanship of Victor David Brenner, the era of Franklin Roosevelt's recovery programs, the journey of millions of Americans rebuilding their lives, and the legacy of a coin series that continues to fascinate collectors around the world. Even though it may not be the rarest date in the wheat penny lineup, its value lies in its historical depth, its potential variety discoveries, its authentic wear, and its enduring place in the story of American coinage. The 1936 wheat penny remains a powerful reminder that history is not always found in museums or books. See you in the next treasure hunt on Coins Numismatic Series.